and welcome to this Evo film about a crazy weekend in late summer. Now, you join us as we crawl along a typically traffic congested Belgian motorway, and often when I come to this lovely country, it tends to be to visit somewhere near the villages of Spa, Stavelot, Malmedy. Now, I wonder what's there. Of course, the mighty Spa-Francorchamps. So, we're on our way to Spa, but things are a bit different this time because, well, here's an admission. I've never driven a single-seater racing car. It's just never happened, just one of those things. But I'm on my way now to drive an almost contemporary Formula One car during the Grand Prix weekend. So that's Spa, Formula One car, Grand Prix weekend. This is what happened next. Well, here we are. Welcome to an absolutely glorious morning at Spa, arguably the world's most beautiful scenic racing circuit. I can't express just how grateful I am that my prayers for it not to rain today have been answered. I feel very, very, very lucky for that. Well, we're about an hour and a half away now from me getting in the car. And yeah, you know, the nerves are just brewing up nicely. Well, as you can imagine, there's also a lot of excitement as well. One thing that has surprised me, and I've no idea why it has, is just how many people are here already who are going to be watching. And of course, that's been me so many times, even here. And now I'm going to be on the other side of the fence. And that's just a weird thing. Just time to focus now on the car and on driving it. And of course, on enjoying it too. Yeah, time to go and get ready, I think. You might recognise this as a 2011 Marussia Virgin Racing MVR02. And you'd be right, it's actually chassis number 1, driven by both Timo Glock and Jerome D'Ambrosio during a number of races that season. But it's also a TDF1. Let me explain. The TDF1 is the brainchild of British company Tour de Force, who specialise in the restoration, running and re-engineering of modern-era Formula One cars, from 80s turbo monsters to the last of the pre-hybrid cars from earlier this decade. Their customers wanted a more accessible Formula One car, not necessarily cheaper to buy, but more cost-effective to run, one that can realistically exceed 300 kilometres a year and not require a team present to run it. The bodywork, aerodynamics, even the DRS system are all as the original car. However, throughout it, components have been replaced or re-engineered. For example, the steering rack is now a bespoke steel item instead of carbon fibre, requiring a lot less inspection. The wheels are still made by OZ Racing, but unique to the TDF1, a few grams heavier, but much stronger. But the biggest change is the engine. Out goes the little 2.4 litre Cosworth CA V8, and instead there's a turbocharged inline-4, actually a heavily developed version of the previous Formula 2 motor. It makes 600 brake horsepower, around 90 horsepower less than the V8, but it has over twice the torque, and the car weighs just 30 kilograms more. As much as 3,000 kilometres a year is now achievable, and it can be started by just one man. It's a complete game changer. I get away cleanly, but almost immediately things start to go wrong. It feels like the car is jumping out of gear, and error messages begin flashing up alarmingly on the steering wheel. I just try and get the car back round to the team. Now later, analysing the data, it'll show that my knee actually brushed the steering wheel mounted clutch paddle,
by 1, maybe 2 millimeters, just enough to confuse the electronics. Now the box has recovered, but it's in a fail-safe mode. Still, I have bigger problems. Try as I might, moving away smoothly with the overheated clutch is now impossible, and yes, I stall it. It's a disaster. There's nothing left to do but to go for it. Dump the clutch and give it a bootful of revs. It catches perfectly, and from then on, everything is simply wonderful. My second lap becomes my out lap to warm tyres and brakes. The third, that's a bit quicker, and the fourth lap, the one you're about to see, is my first proper lap. Oh, and apologies about the footage quality. The camera mount just couldn't cope with the air pressure over 150 miles an hour, and then it also received a direct hit from a chunk of rubber that tilted it backwards. Frankly, it was a miracle we captured anything.
Bit lost for words. So, where to start with that? So got it round, stopped, spoke to the guys who all came sprinting across, and so I was there, but the clutch was hot by then, and then I stalled it, which was a disaster. So at that point, I just thought you just have to get a grip now, and do this, and you're not going to be able to just move away gently, clearly. So I kind of I gave it the lot basically, and banged out the clutch, and then we was off, and that was good. And then from then it was just magic. It was just absolutely magic. From then, all of that had just gone. I don't know. All of that. There were no more problems. I let the tyres and the brakes come up to temperature on that lap, which you could feel they were. And then the lap after that, I started to push a little bit harder. And then the lap after that, I was really starting to think about how late I could leave the braking, use the boost button, managed down change into 5th for Eau Rouge and the lift, but still felt really mighty. And the same up here as well at Blanchimont, into top, I think, but the lift. It was great, and then I came around to the start-finish line, and I saw the red lights, and I didn't think I'd noticed them, but I sort of saw them subconsciously, and I thought it can't be over already. But for whatever reason, they cut the session short, and so I only got 4 laps, not like 8, 9, or whatever it was going to be. So mixed emotions. I mean, awesome, the most unbelievable, mind-blowing experience, and to be honest, I think it's going to take days and days to sink in. But also, how weird, it's like human nature is so funny. You're so worried about it beforehand. I get out the car now, I'm just really cross about that first lap. How did that happen? I want to get straight back in that car and do it to what I feel is the best of my ability. The whole thing has switched around. So, yeah, I guess that's just life, isn't it? I just want another go. But yeah, just an unbelievable experience.
Tour de Force will initially build 5 TDF1 cars, 3 based on Mauritia Virgin Racing chassis, like this one, and a further 2 based on Saubers from the same 2011 season. They cost £1.5 million, plus local taxes, and that includes a full driver training programme in the simulator and on track, team support at events, and the chance to drive the car during a Grand Prix weekend like we did.
And just like that, it's all over. All that pressure, stress, anticipation, excitement, just gone. But what an incredible experience, and one that I never, ever, ever imagined that I would have. Driving a contemporary Formula One car at Spa with a stone's throw of the paddock. Yep, the TDF1 sure is one hell of a track day car.